Hello and welcome to the second video in editing this landscape image. I hope you like my new hat. The first video we cropped the image and made the horizon straight. Hat's a bit itchy. That's what we did last time, so go back to there. So what we're going to do this time is just edit the presence and highlight shadows, whites and blacks. To start with, I always just have a look what Lightroom suggests on the auto setting, just in case it's any good. It usually isn't. So I just click the auto button. You see it's brightened it up a bit, but we don't want the overall image brightened up. We want parts of it brightened. So I'm just going to click on the tone twice in order to set that back again. I like to work on the presence section first. Other people have their own favourite sections to work on. I'm going to work on the presence just to give it a bit more punch. The image is a little washed out because of the light coming from over on the right hand side, so I'm just going to try to punch that back a bit. So I'm going to give it a fair amount of clarity just to punch it back up again, and I give it some vibrance and saturation. Just give it some saturation now. Okay, starting to look a little bit more like the image I had in my mind when I took the shot. I like to compare the before and after just as I go along. So at least two Y's down the bottom. So that's the raw to start with after cropping. And we can see there's more colour in there I brought back, and there's a little more punch. There are some shadow areas that need to be handled. Let's go back to full screen again. The next step I do is I just have a look what the profile corrections will look like. This corrects the lens used in this particular shot, so I'm just going to click that on. You see it flattens out the image a little more. Very good for architecture shots. Turn it off again. I sort of feel I prefer it turned off, and I'm going to work on the CA as well. So we'll just have a look. Zoom into the lighthouse. You see with the strong light behind and the lighthouse being fairly dark, we've got a fair amount of CA around there, so we can just click that button and simply turn it off. Go back full screen again. Right, doing a little bit of work on the highlights now. I just want to bring that down because it's all a little too bright and making it all a bit washed out. So I brought the highlights down, and I'm going to bring the shadows up. This area is very dark, and that's very dark. So I'll just bring shadows up a bit until it looks a little more like I saw when I was taking the shot. Okay. Look at the before and after again. Okay, still shadows there need to be handled a little more. The sky's starting to look really nice, and the sea as well. Let's go back to full screen. Check the lighthouse, we haven't got any CA back. That's fine. And that's the end of this particular session. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this.